Hello everyone and welcome back. Now today's session is extremely important, especially if you want to move from basic XPath usage to the real world automation mastery. So up until now, we have learned how to write relative XPath, use attributes like ID and name, and combine multiple attributes using and or conditions. But here is the reality. In real applications, element don't always have clean IDs. So text keep on changing, messages appear dynamically, and error validations don't stay the same every time. And that is exactly where XPath functions come in. Okay, so today we are going to focus on three most powerful and most frequently used XPath functions, that is text, contains, and starts with. Okay, so if you see, there is one more page I have here. So if you see the buttons like subscribe to quality analyst, then the login button. So let's say for example the button might get changed in future. Similarly, they subscribe to the quality analyst might get changed in future, right? Similarly, if you see on our first page that there is an error message, and this is the dynamic error message, and for this error underscore will remain the same, and this number will keep on changing. So in such cases, XPath functions will help us a lot. Okay, so before we jump into syntax, let's answer a simple question: why do we even need XPath functions? Okay, so because modern web applications are dynamic, text changes, like for example this ID is getting auto generated. Okay, errors messages vary, extra spaces appear. So if you see, let's say for example this example here, just inspect this, and then if you double click on this, and then simply you see there is a space and a new line. Okay, so if you just copy this here in the notepad file, you will see the difference. You see there are spaces added, and even the spaces added below, so there is a new line added. Okay, so this kind of extra spaces may appear. Prefixes and suffixes are added. So if XPath only worked with exact attribute matches, automation would break constantly. So XPath functions allow us to say I don't need the entire value, I just need part of it. I want to match based on the behavior, not the exact text. Okay, so that's mindset. Flexibility with control is what XPath functions provide us. Okay, so let's start with the most straightforward function, that is the text function. So we will like take an example of this login button. Okay, and then let's inspect this first, and then you will see the HTML for that. So you see there is a button tag, and there is an attribute, only one attribute there, that is on click is equals to login. Okay, and then there is an enclosed text which is login. Okay, so now we need to use this enclosed text. Okay, and then we need to extract this particular like we need to locate this particular button by using this login text. Okay, so again what we can do is, again if you want to search it, let me first copy this. There is no spaces here. So as the tag is button, control F, and then I will start with double slash. Again we are going with the relative XPath. Okay, now let's search with the button. So now we are not going with the ID attribute or name attribute or any kind of attribute, because if you see, our element doesn't have any specific attribute. So again on click is there, but we generally don't use such kind of attributes. Okay, so we should be having some kind of solid attribute, that is ID, name, placeholders, something like that, and those should be unique. But for this case we don't have any such attribute available. Okay, so now we need to find out this, but locate this button by using this particular enclosed text. Okay, so now we will use the text function. So again now instead of attribute we are using the text function here. So we don't need to like we are not providing @ here, because we are not searching the button by using any attribute. We are searching it using the function. Okay, and the function name is text. So simply write text here, and then equals to the enclosed text, and then you see the button gets highlighted, and then search results are 1 of 1. So it says find a button. whose visible text is exactly login. Okay, so this is very readable, very intuitive, and very powerful. So, but here is something extremely important. So, text requires an exact match. So, even if you change this name, let's say logi, so it will not work, right? So, it should have the exact name. Okay, and again, this is case sensitive. So, if you simply make it small letter here, again it will not match. So the case sensitivity is there. Spaces, like if there are spaces in your uh, enclosed text, then again those should get matched. Okay, we should be searching the button with the exact text. Okay, and even extra white space can break it. Okay, so again, as we discussed, so this is case sensitivity. Okay, this follows case sensitivity. Spaces must match. If there are any extra white spaces are there, again those should also get matched. So this is why test works best when the UI test is stable, UI text is stable and controlled by the business. Okay, so next is, so if there are dynamic messages, okay, so again, if there are dynamic messages or dynamic text, we should not be able to locate that with the help of text function. So in real applications, messages are rarely static. For example, error messages might look like invalid username or password. Then later that gets changed to invalid password. Okay, again there are some other messages like invalid credentials. So if you use text function, if you try to match these using text function, your automation will become fragile. Okay, so this is where contains becomes your best friend. So there is another function that is contains, which checks whether a given string is a part of the text or attribute value. So as the name suggests, we are just looking some part in the attribute value. Okay, so let's check this one. Okay, so this subscribe to quality analyst, and then if you double click on it, as we have seen, right, there are spaces, extra spaces are there. Okay, so again, if you simply use a text function, it will not work. So let's give it a try. This is again a button. Okay, and then I will just simply use this text, and if you click on it, it will not work. So there is another way to use the text function. There is another function is there, normalize space, that we will be seeing in the upcoming sessions. But for now, text function is not feasible for such kind of enclosed text. Okay, so like we have contains function, okay, which we can use here. Okay, so again I will simply remove it, or maybe I will just copy subscribe part here for now. Okay, and then again there is a button tag, so just add a button tag. Now we are not using text function, we are using the contains function. Okay, and then inside contains we are looking for a text, okay, containing subscribe. Okay, and then you see we are able to locate that particular element, right? So even if you change it, let's say to the, right, so you see it is still matching. But if you again, if you change this sensitivity here, case sensitivity, then again it will not match, right? So if you remove some spaces, or maybe just add some extra space, again it will not work. So we have added extra space, it will not work. So that's why it should match, like whatever the text we are looking for, that at least should be there in the particular element. Okay, so here again, if you, now let's say the quality analyst, so the quality analyst. Okay, and then now I think I need to remove, there is some issue. Okay, so you see it's matching now. So this is how we use like contains function, and inside contains we are looking for a text containing the subscribe to the quality analyst. Okay, so simply I can I can remove this, let's say again, okay, and then it will still match. Okay, so this is how we use contains function. Okay, so this is contains function. Okay, so it just cares about the meaningful part which we are looking for, and again, this is exactly how professional handle dynamic messages. Okay, so even if someone changes this kind of message or this button text, okay, still with the help of this contains function, our test case will pass. This is robust automation. Okay, so now let's talk about the another powerful function, that is starts with. Okay, this function is helpful when values start the same but end differently. So for example, on the other page we have this dynamic error message. Okay, and then if you see, this is the error underscore, which is static part, and you see this has changed to 123, and again after some time or some seconds, this number will get changed. So for this, the starting text will remain the same, and the ending text is getting changed. So in such cases, we can use starts with function. Okay, so again, the use is similar as of contains. Okay, so maybe we can search it. Okay, again, I will just simply inspect this page. You see, it has changed to 456. Again, inspect this, and then you see there is a enclosed text which is error 456. Okay, so now I will just copy this, and again you see there is a div tag, and this is error 456. Okay, so we'll write the XPath for this. So I will simply copy this error here. Okay, and then you see there is a div tag. Okay, and the enclosed text is error 123. So now currently we are looking for a visible text. Okay, so simply Control F, and then again I'll be using a relative XPath, so double slash and then div, and then similar to contains, we are using here starts with. Okay, and then inside starts with, we are looking for a text, okay, which is starting with an error. Okay, so not with the full error here. Okay, again if you see here, the number might have got changed already, that's why it is not matching. You see it is 456 right now, and then maybe we can simply remove this and then just search with the starts with, and then it will match with the element. So even if it is 456 or 123, it will always match. So let's try with 789 now. Okay, now 789, sorry, let me add it here, 789. Now you see we are able to locate it, but after some time the number will get changed and you will not be able to see it here. Okay, now currently we can see it 1 of 1. Okay, now wait for a second and then we will see. Okay, now it is 1 2 3, and now if you search it, it will not be able to locate. So that's why the starts with function come into play. So we can search our text with the help of starting text. Okay, and then this will help. Okay, so this is starts with function. So now if you want to locate it with the help of attribute, so we can use starts with along with this attribute also, attribute text also, this attribute value, sorry, not text, attribute value. Okay, so for this again, our syntax will remain the same, but again I will simply like I want to find with the help of this name attribute. Okay, so again let's starts with the div. Okay, again this is a div tag, and then add that particular function starts with. Okay, and then again inside the braces you can add at the rate. Again, now as we are looking based on attribute, then it should start with at the rate. So now add at the rate here, and then what attribute value you are looking for. So we are looking for error, right? So you see it is again highlighted. So if you, or maybe if you simply check error message, again that will work for this case, because error message is not getting changed anymore. But yeah, if that is also dynamic, then again this is very useful. Okay, so in this way you can use this starts with function. I will just copy this also here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so we have covered text function, contains, and then starts with. Okay, so let's summarize today's class. Text function, which is great for stable visible text. Contains function is perfect for dynamic messages, the messages which are getting changed, okay, or having some extra spaces, new lines. So in that case, contains will work fine. There is a start with is ideal for dynamic prefixes. So like this last example which we have seen. So if the error number is getting changed, then definitely it's a good choice to go with starts with. So XPath functions turn fragile automation into reliable automation. So if you found this session helpful, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone learning Selenium. So in the next session, we will go even deeper with XPath access, parent, child, ancestor, and sibling relationships. Okay, so I will see you in the next class.